Good day and welcome back to Bowman's Woods, where we're documenting our off-grid house build. It's an ICF house, which means it's a cement form house. All the walls are cement, so great insulation value. We're heating with a wood boiler. We're completely powered by solar. And in the previous episodes, we've gone through that build process. And in the last episode, we talked about some of our issues with the septic build and some trials and tribulations we've gone through. If you haven't seen that episode, go back. There's also a playlist called Off-Grid House Build or something along that lines. If you look in the playlist, you'll find one, and it takes you from the very start all the way to where we are now. This is a very unique house too, because not only is it an ICF house build, but it's an ICF house garage, meaning all the walls of the garage are cement as well, with radiant floor heating in both with dual zones, so you can decide what temperature you want your garage or shop and your house, and vice versa. Obviously, you probably want your house warmer than your shop. But this is what it was like in the winter. In the very last episode, we got my trailer inside, so I'm now able to live in there while we do the build. You can notice that the tarps on the garage doors, because there was a kind of a screw up in ordering those doors, they didn't show up the right size. So we have one garage door in the front, one in the back, and then two that are just covered with tarps. And we were heating with our wood boiler. And the tarp situation actually worked out pretty good. If you put tarps on the outside and the inside, it actually does hold in the heat pretty well. But that was in the last episode. So let's get to this one. This is the Midwinter update. Good morning and welcome back to Bowman's Woods. I'm going to do a nice early morning midwinter update on how the off-grid ICF house build is going. So winter's beautiful. If you look around, I'll show you some scenes from the backyard. It's like a Christmas postcard out here. But this day presently is quite cold, hence the toque. It's been actually a nice winter here in Ontario, Canada. Most highs have been in the single digits in terms of negative, like -4, -5, -6. At night, -19, -20, but you can't complain when it's early February, so pretty much the coldest month of the year. And our highs are in the single digit negatives. So I'm not complaining at all. You know, climate change is real. It really is happening, but it's benefiting us here in Canada. I remember growing up, you tell me in the comments if you remember this. I remember you'd go to work. I worked shift work. And if you worked a night shift and you got to your car at the end of the shift, you were crossing your fingers the car would start, because it would go down to like -30, and during the day it'd be -15, -20. And I remember driving when you finally did get your car to start. Sometimes you need a boost, but you'd be driving down the road and you hear your tires going thump, 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 because they aren't completely round anymore, because you've been sitting for 8 hours or 10 hours with the tire flat on the ground, and it just doesn't want to go round because it's so frozen. But it's a midwinter update on the house. There's been a lot of changes. As you can see, we no longer have tarps on the garage doors. We now have the fully functioning garage doors with the garage door openers, and I'll show you that. Those garage door openers are crazy quiet. Okay, I just wanted to show that the garage doors are in. There's no more tarps over the two left doors, and it's super quiet. Let me just open it up. So that motor up there, it's the quietest garage door motor I've ever heard. So yay for us. Main roof's done. Veranda's roof is mostly done except for the back, because they need to change out a window. And they know when they break out some of the ICF wall, it's going to fall on the roof, and they don't want to damage it. Things that have done well is the wood boiler, which I'll show you in a second. And the solar, it's a beta. There's been some issues when it's working. It works great. We have some times where the microinverters kind of stop connecting with the gateway, and then that means we lose some photovoltaic power, and it's suboptimal. So I'm working with Enphase on rectifying that, and they've been really good customer service. I have my own contact person with Enphase to email back and forth as I see issues. Again, this is a beta for an off-grid, so there are going to be some growing issues. One thing, part of the solar system, is the propane generator here that is working awesome. It's a Generac, I believe. Walking through the deep snow. My tractor there, I have a snowblower. As you can see, not a ton of snow. I just got to use it for reels 2 days ago when we got an actual decent amount of snow in one night. So I make some trails from going around one way and also the driveway, because sometimes you need to get to the back of the house, and most of the contractors just need to get to the front of the house. So I have multiple trails. So a snowblower on a tractor is a godsend, but this winter, again, climate change, it hasn't really been needed. I mean, I guess I would have needed it once, but I bought it brand new. It's a Kubota snowblower. And cost me, I don't know, I'm trying to remember now. I'm guessing at least 10 grand. It's a lot of money to be able to snow blow and then you don't use it. Luckily, I have a working powder room bathroom now, and so I don't need to use that outhouse that's way over there. That was a pain in the butt. If you needed to really use a certain type of bathroom facility, you had to walk across this frozen field to get to that outhouse. So life is certainly better than it is now. Let's go inside and see the changes. Having fun?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they've got most of the wall, well, pretty much all the walls, except for that one spot that isn't done. So this area of the wall wasn't completed because the solar guys still need a final electrical inspection. And as such, they're not 100% sure if the inspector is going to want a door on this for fire or no door. There's a bit of a conflict of opinion on whether a door here is supposed to be needed or not needed. So if we don't need it, we don't want to install it and clad it with aluminum and then have to be told it's got to be taken out. If we do need it, we'll luminize them. So this is, again, from previous episodes I've mentioned this. This is the 4 batteries for the solar system, the Enphase solar system. This is the gateway. This is what talks to the internet and talks to the microinverters outside. This is just more guts of stuff. Bypasses for the solar panels. You can bypass to have, or sorry, generator. You can have the bypass on, which means you're just powering the house directly from the generator, or normal where it only uses the generator where the batteries are below a certain percentage. Again, I mentioned this in a previous episode. I definitely think I need more than just 4 batteries. In the wintertime, with the pumps running the in-floor radiant heating, I use about 1.4 kilowatts consistently, and 4 batteries just isn't cutting it overnight. I always need the generator at least once. I mentioned this in a previous episode as well, so go back and check out that. This is just the piping in this utility room for the in-floor radiant heating. You've got 2 zones. You've got a pump that pumps the zone for the garage, and you've got a pump that pumps the zone for the house. And then this thing tells you, this is the relay, tells you which zone is requesting heat and which one's not. Right now both are requesting heat because it was cold, and the fire overnight generally goes almost out to where it smolders. We've got the ability here to add additional water to the system from the water heater, which is coming out of the cold anyway, but it's just so I can open up that valve and add more water into the system if it's a little low. Over time, when it's heated, it will boil off some of the water. So you will need to add water, and it's just easier doing it this way than running out there with a hose, especially in the wintertime, and trying to fill it from the lid on top. This is a heat exchanger into the forced air furnace. We've never used this forced air furnace because we're in construction and you'd void the warranty if you turn this on because of all the dust. So we haven't tried it yet, but you can definitely tell when it's hot that hot water is going through this, heat exchanger like a radiator. And then when the forced air furnace is available to be used, you can turn on the fan and actually blow heat into the house that way without actually using any of the propane. In the shoulder seasons, when we don't really maybe have a fire going, like in early spring, late fall, maybe it's not cold enough outside to justify setting up a big huge fire in the wood boiler outside. In that case, you could just use propane to heat the house that way, but it won't heat the garage because there's no ducts in the garage. There is radiant floor heating in both the house and the garage. So this is the garage. I still love having a heated garage. It's like -20 outside. These guys are working in t-shirts. It's so warm. I don't even keep it that warm in here, but I do still glamp in the trailer. It means that I live in that trailer because there's really no bedroom for me, but it's perfectly fine. It's heated. I have a bathroom for like washing your face sort of facilities. I don't use the septic on this trailer now. I got obviously a kitchen and a bedroom in there, and I keep my truck in here so that if it's outside for a little bit, when they need to work in here, I'll move it outside. But if it's ice and snow, then it's nice to bring it in and everything defrosts. All right, so here's the areas that you're probably most interested in. How has the wood boiler done? Probably asking how much wood do I use too. Again, that varies. It's hard to say because when it's just, like I say, -4, -5, the wood boiler is almost too strong. It'll actually get to the point where it'll get the water over its recommended heat, and it'll actually turn off the flue and the fan to try and cool the fire down. You can see here right now, because it was overnight, it almost goes out. So the water inside is, I think you can see that, 98 degrees. So these like to get it above 120. for the most efficient floor heating. If it gets above 120 inside there is little combiners that adds cold water and hot water to make sure the floor doesn't get more than 120 degrees of heat. It'll add cold into it to make sure you don't scald your feet on the floor. Here's what I'm saying about picture postcard. Look at these trees. I'd actually consider doing a drone flight over this because I'm sure it's beautiful from the air too, but minus 20. It's probably colder than the DJI drone would want to do. I bet if it got up there, it could freeze and crash into the forest somewhere, and I'd probably never find it again. So I might wait. Later today, it's supposed to get warm enough that I might fly it later. If I do, I'll throw some footage in of the snow-covered trees. So back to the wood boiler. The only thing you got to do, put wood in it, of course, every once in a while. Do this. That just cleans out the heat exchanger tubes from any kind of creosote that's built up. And usually what I do, now they tell you push this to do the air bypass. I find you just have to crack it a bit, let some air in just so the smoke doesn't blast you in the face, and then open the door. So there you go. I got it going again. Like I said, I have some big logs that are from dead trees. They may be needing a little bit more seasoning, but when you get a raging fire going, these logs burn anyway. Again, you can see the bark's falling off. These trees have been dead for a while in the forest. I kind of ran out of good split wood. So at this point, ran out is probably too excessive. I got down into my pile to the point that it's over there. If you see the splitter way over there, there's a pile, but with all the snow and ice and freezing, thawing, the split wood at the bottom is now frozen together like a big iceberg of wood. So I've kind of run out of split wood. So now what I'm doing is going into the forest, finding trees that are long dead. Some of them have literally no bark on it, and then cutting them. I could have split them to make them smaller, but what I've been finding is big logs are better for overnight burns. When I was putting this stuff, this is more typical of what I was split. When I put split wood in, what I was finding is it burns so quickly that I wake up the next morning and the fire is completely gone. Nothing but ash. So yeah, you want to last overnight, get it raging, get it like this where it's hot enough that it'll burn just about anything, and then throw a big log or two on top and it'll make it all the way through the night. Again, solar array, growing pains. It seems like I have enough solar panels, and when everything's working well, I can be 100% charged. Like a day like today, I can be 100% charged by noon. And then I'm running around trying to find things to plug in, because otherwise the solar panels are not doing anything because they can't send any more power to the batteries. So this would be a time to buy a Tesla or another electric vehicle, because that'd be perfect. In the midday when you're like tapped out, your batteries are full, it'd be nice to plug in something you could use later, like an electric vehicle, and charge that up so that you are getting free propulsion. So there you go. I don't want to say too much yet because I feel like it is a beta and is more of software glitches, I'm thinking, where some of them, each one of these panels, instead of having one big inverter for all the panels, they have a microinverter at each panel that sends the power efficiently to the batteries. Unfortunately, when you have 28 microinverters, I'm finding there's times where 10 of them, 12 of them, whatever, will all of a sudden just stop responding, which means you're only bringing in half the solar even when your batteries need it. So I'm working with Enphase. They're trying to figure out why it does that. I'm sure it'll get fixed. They're very responsive, and you speak to them in the customer service or their support team, they're very smart. You can tell they're all electrical engineers. So I'm very happy with Enphase. I'm just think with this new off-grid system, there's a little bit of growing pains where they haven't quite worked out all the bugs yet, but it'll get done. So there you go. So let's go back into the house and see some of the inside of the house differences. Oh, we might as well go this way. So I do have Starlink out here. I was going to mount it on the wall, but they still need to clad the wall. So I figure why mount it and then have to take it down. So I just leave it on the ground here, but it does the trick. So that would be a double door into the master bedroom. We're changing that door. It was, if you watched the last episode, it was the wrong door. It's supposed to be a double opening door. It was only a single opening door. So that's getting fixed. All right. So in here, the mutters are working. Hello. So they're almost done the job. So It's a lot of work. Drywallers are finished about last week. The hangers, drywall hangers. And then the mudders come in and they do all the mudding. And then the sanders will come. And then Kevin and the main team will have to dust and wipe down all the walls before the painters will come in. So yeah, pretty good to progress. And like I said, this is a godsend for me. I'm sure for the crew too. We have a functioning powder room. Like, everything gets dusty in here, so excuse all the dust and dirt around everything. But to have a fully functioning powder room was a huge improvement in lifestyle. So yeah, this house has a ton of windows. Probably seen that in previous episodes, but now that you see it with the drywall, you realize just how much light there's going to be in the great room. So you've got windows up there, windows up there, and there's going to be one additional window changed out, and that's why we haven't put the steel on the back of the roof of the veranda, because we're going to be breaking some of the ICF wall. So let me just bring you up here. Ooh, I'll just film from here. So that window there is a skinny window up high. The roof of the veranda changed, and it doesn't have a peak there, so there's no reason for a skinny tall window. So they're going to change that out to be just like the theater room window. Let me go show you the theater room. That window, as you can see, I'm 6 feet tall. I'll put it about where my eyes are. This is the camera. So you can really only see the top of the trees. My wife didn't love this window in the first place, but because there was supposed to be a peak roof below it, really couldn't change it. And then when the peak roof got changed out by the roof maker, they said it's just not good for water to run that way against the wall here. And then when that peak roof got taken away, they decided we're going to put this window, exact same dimensions as this window, over there, which means they now need to chisel or cut out the cement from the ICF wall to make this. Which case, when they break it, they were going to try and push it out. It's going to land on the veranda roof, so they don't want to tin that roof yet because it'll get damaged. But the view from back here is pretty nice. So we'll get more view over in that other room. So this is the theater room. And you've got a storage room, which is kind of boring. You don't need to see that. We've got the secondary full bathroom. Again, from a previous episode I mentioned, Coltech kind of mistakenly sent us sealed windows for this, which needs to be an opening window for a bathroom. So that's changed out. And then 2 identical bedrooms. This one's going to be an actual bedroom for guests. And then this one over here, which is exact same dimensions, is going to be our workout room. So we wired it for a TV to be in that corner, and this will be a workout room. Again, same dimensions, both bedrooms. There used to be two bedrooms before we got the theater. Originally, this room, this storage room, was the bathroom. But there's no windows, and there's no ability for windows. So, because there's a garage on the other side of that wall. So my wife was like, no thanks, I don't want a bathroom with no windows. So she moved it over to the corner so we could have a window, which left this area that was the bathroom kind of, what do you do with it? So we made a big, huge storage room up here. Now that got moved here, that kind of ate into what was going to be a bedroom. So we decided, forget it, forget this bedroom, just make this room extra big and turn it into a theater room. So the original design was going to be 4 bedrooms up here, and then our master, which is on the main floor. So yeah, that was gonna be a 5-bedroom house. There's only 2 of us. Our kids are grown and moved out, so we don't need 5 bedrooms. And I do love my movies, so a theater room is, something I really, really wanted. So this is the great room. There obviously is going to be a banister here. As you can see, the yellow paint to warn people not to step too close. But yeah, this is going to be a railing here, open railing around the stairwell, and then metal railings going all the way down the side. It's going to look real nice. Can't wait to see that. So if you didn't watch a previous episode where I kind of walked you through this is the, obviously behind me, kitchen, great room, dining room with a walkout to an outdoor seating area that's covered. So that's that. Somebody did mention maybe we should put some drop-down bug nets because in the spring and early summer, the bugs can be pretty nasty around here. So that's that. This is the master bedroom. And again, that door is going to get replaced because it's supposed to be a double swinging door. It ended up being a single swinger. Oops, sorry. This window was supposed to be an opening window. They're going to change that out. This is the master bathroom. I'll go around this way since he's got his drywall mudding apparatus there. Closet, laundry room, and walk-in closet for the master bedroom. So there you go. That is pretty much the entire house. As you can see, we're probably 90% done with the mudding. And then I'm really excited about the painting because that's when it really comes together. This area here is for a double fridge. Gas, propane powered stove here. Sink and whatnot there under the window. And then closet for the mudroom. This is the mudroom. This is mostly where we would come in and out from the garage. Because you're going to get out of your car in the garage. You're not going to get out in the driveway and walk in the front door. And then this was supposed to be an office with a little pantry over here. And my wife Janice decided, no, we don't need an office and a pantry, so let's just knock the wall out and make it one big pantry. So I do not get an office, although there's enough room in those bedrooms upstairs for that. So there you go. And then we're back into the garage. Again, all of it's heated from radiant inflow heating that's run by that wood boiler. So that's it. So there you go. That is the Midwinter update of the ICF off-grid house build and how it's going. I'd say it's going pretty well. Obviously, I'm not probably telling you something you don't already know. Whenever you have construction, just assume that everything's going to cost more than what you were quoted, because especially when you're there and you're like, they go, do you want this or do you want that? And you go, I'll go with that. Okay, well, that's going to be extra. It wasn't part of the original quote. And you only get one shot at this. So a lot of times when it comes to the electricians, I was saying, oh, do you want a pot light over here too? Do you want a pot light in the closet? And we're like, you know what? Yeah, throw a pot light in there. And again, so the bills end up being bigger. I don't think single quote has ever come in at or under what they quoted. It's always been over. And I understand why. In most cases, it's because we've made slight modifications or we've added more things than we originally told them we were going to do. So expected, but things go over budget. Things take longer than they were told. I don't know if you saw this in the previous episode. My trailer was originally out in this field, and I was told I would definitely have a heated garage by December 1st. So if I could just make it to December 1st, I'd be in the garage heated and I could live in the trailer. I didn't get in until December 20th, and even then they were rushing to get me in and get the wood boiler going and everything going, the solar, so that I could run everything, so I could live in the garage. Again, I live in the garage almost every day. My wife comes on the weekends. If the weather's totally crappy, I will go to Ottawa to visit her on the weekends. And now, actually, last week was her last week of work. She's now officially retired. She's not here most of the time during the week still because we got to sell our other house in Ottawa. And so she's doing all the legwork there of getting rid of things, purging, cleaning, boxing things up. So that's what she's doing while I'm monitoring the build here and keeping the wood boiler going and all that stuff. So it's a team effort. We're just in two different locations, but we see each other about half the week, whether she comes here or I go there. So there we go. That is it. I think it's going well. It's going to be nice when it's painted. I can't wait to show you guys the house once the walls are painted and the doors and the trim are on. It'll look like a real house then. It'll take a while to be a fully live-in house where we can live in the master bedroom and have a shower in the actual master bathroom. I told the builder I'd like it to be completely done inside at least by May 1st, and he says that shouldn't be a problem. I need it good enough with the flooring in for me to move stuff from my other house to this house by mid-March. He says that should be, he's a little less confident with that one, a little less confident, but he says he should have enough flooring in on the second floor that I can have the movers move my heavy stuff from the other house to this one. I don't want to pay movers to move me and then they just throw it in the garage because the floors aren't done inside the house. So I'm trying to rush to get the painting and the trim around the doors and the doors on. That's the painters want the doors and the trim on around the doors and windows so that they can paint it. So that painting is a big step. We gotta get a lot of stuff done between then. And then once that's done, then they'll do the flooring. It's click flooring. With cement floors, you can't put wood. It just doesn't work with a heated floor because it heats and cools and heats and cools. The wood will dry and crack and swell. And so you got to put the fabricated wood down, which is fine. It looks just as good. And once we decided to do that on the main floor, which is cement, we decided to make it match on the second floor because when you're up on the second floor, you see down into the great room. And so you don't want, we just didn't want two different floorings. So we went with one throughout. So once the floor is in, then I can get the movers to move all my crap into the house. Even if the kitchen's not fully functional and some other stuff's not fully functional, we can continue to live for time being in the trailer. And yeah, you know, we still have kitchen facilities and bedroom facilities and whatnot. And we have the powder room for bathroom facilities. So we can make it work. We can make it work. You can hear the crunchiness of the snow, eh? That's what it sounds like when it's really cold out. But I just love this time of year. Otherwise, so beautiful. And we got the trails on this 150 acres, 155 acres. I'm forgetting now. One of those two numbers of forest. Again, said this in previous episodes. The front of the property is more scrubby because I think this is reclaimed farm field. So you see it's a lot of like, there's all like old apple trees and just other scrubby kind of brush. When you get further in, it becomes all hardwood. I'd say it's about 80% maple. Then you have a mix of oak and ash and other things in there, all hardwood. So plenty of firewood. That's one thing I got to say is next year, we're so busy with the build and other things going on, and it was super muddy this summer. It rained like every second day. We didn't get as much wood splitting done as we thought we would. So we'll know for next year, we got to split about, I don't know, just to be safe and to have an inventory for the following year. We need to split like 5 times as much wood as we did this summer, fall. So yeah, but we're making it work. And like I said, need be, I just go into the forest, find blow down trees that have been dead for a while, where the bark is falling off and you can tell it's not like fresh dead, and cut those up, and the wood boiler will burn it. Just you want to throw in some pine boards or some other things to get the fire really raging, and then throw those honking logs on top of that. There we go. I'll leave you with that. Maybe I'll get the drone up and throw some footage in now. Talk to you later.